Egyptian archaeologists, uncovering for the first time the cemetery of senior officials and priests of the new state in the Al-Ghuraifa area in Tuna Al-Jabal in Minya in a press conference organized by the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. The ministry announced for the first time the discovery of the cemetery of senior officials and priests of the new state. The cemetery of the senior officials and priests of the new kingdom was uncovered, containing many tombs carved into the rock, containing hundreds of archaeological finds, including amulets, ornaments, and stone and wooden coffins containing mummies, in addition to a group of Ushabti statues made of pottery and wood of some of the senior officials, such as Jahuti Mas, who bears the title the supervisor of the bulls of the Temple of Amun, and the lady Nani, who holds the title of chanter of Djehuti. This is considered the first time that a New Kingdom cemetery has been found in the 15th region of Upper Egypt, where cemeteries of the Old Kingdom, the First Intermediate Period, and the Middle Kingdom of this region were previously found east of the Nile in the area of Sheikh Said and Deir al-Basha. These are rock tombs belonging to regional governors and senior officials. As for the location of the region's cemetery during the New Kingdom and the late period, it was not known until the Egyptian mission began its excavations this season since last August. Archaeological evidence also indicates that part of this cemetery was reused in later times, as many archaeological finds from the late era were uncovered, such as Ushabti statues of various sizes and manufacturing materials, groups of canopic vessels made of alabaster, limestone, and faience, thousands of amulets, and many stone sarcophagi. The wooden ones are in human shapes, some of which are engraved and colored. Inside are mummies in a good state of preservation and some stone and wooden statues. One of the burials was also found containing an engraved and colored wooden coffin of Mrs. Tade Isa, daughter of Eret Haru, the high priest of Djehuti in Ashmunin. Next to her were two wooden boxes containing her canopic vessels, in addition to a complete set of Ushabti statues and a statue of Ptah Sokar. The New Kingdom, also referred to as the Egyptian Empire, was the ancient Egyptian nation between the 16th century BC and the 11th century BC. This period of ancient Egyptian history covers the 18th, 19th, and 20th dynasties. Through radiocarbon dating, the establishment of the New Kingdom has been placed between 1570 BC and 1544 BC. The New Kingdom followed the Second Intermediate Period and was succeeded by the Third Intermediate Period. It was the most prosperous time for the Egyptian people and marked the peak of Egypt's power. The 18th dynasty included some of Egypt's most famous kings, including Ahmose I, Hatshepsut, Amenhotep III, Akhenaten, and Tutankhamun. Ahmose I was an ancient Egyptian king who reigned from around 1540 to 1514 BC. He is most famous for being the founder of the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt. This Egyptian king is credited with the expulsion of the Hyksos, a ruling family of Asiatic origins, from the land of Egypt. Ahmose I was the son of Pharaoh Seqenenre-Tao and brother of the last pharaoh of the 17th dynasty, Kamose. During his reign, Ahmose completed the conquest and expulsion of the Hyksos from the Nile Delta, restored Theban rule over the whole of Egypt, and successfully reasserted Egyptian power in its formerly subject territories of Nubia and Canaan. He then reorganized the administration of the country, reopened quarries, mines, and trade routes, and began massive construction projects of a type that had not been undertaken since the time of the Middle Kingdom. This building program culminated in the construction of the last pyramid built by native Egyptian rulers. Ahmose's reign laid the foundations for the New Kingdom, under which Egyptian power reached its peak. Hatshepsut was an ancient Egyptian queen who ruled Egypt from around 1473 to 1458 BC. She was the daughter of King Thutmose I and married her half-brother Thutmose II when she was around 12 years old. After Thutmose II's death, Hatshepsut became the regent for her stepson, Thutmose III, but soon declared herself pharaoh and ruled Egypt as a king. Hatshepsut was known for her ambitious building projects, including the construction of the Temple of Deir el-Bahri, which is considered one of the most impressive architectural achievements of ancient Egypt. She also sent expeditions to the land of Punt, a region located in present-day Somalia, to trade for exotic goods such as myrrh, frankincense, and ivory. Hatshepsut's reign was marked by peace and prosperity, and she is considered one of the most successful pharaohs in ancient Egyptian history. However, after her death, her successor, Thutmose III, attempted to erase her legacy and remove all traces of her reign from history. Amenhotep III, also known as Amenhotep the Magnificent or Amenhotep the Great and Hellenized as Amenophis III, was the ninth pharaoh of the 18th dynasty. According to different authors, he ruled Egypt from June 1386 to 1349 BC, or from June 1388 BC to December 1351 BC, 1350 BC, after his father Thutmose IV died. Amenhotep was Thutmose's son by a minor wife, Mutemwiya. His reign was a period of unprecedented prosperity and splendor when Egypt reached the peak of its artistic and international power, and as such is considered one of ancient Egypt's greatest pharaohs. When he died, in the 38th or 39th year of his reign, he was succeeded by his son Amenhotep IV, who later changed his name to Akhenaten. Akhenaten was an ancient Egyptian pharaoh reigning c. 1353, 1336, or 1351, 1334 BC, the 10th ruler of the 18th dynasty. As a pharaoh, Akhenaten is noted for abandoning Egypt's traditional polytheism and introducing Atonism, or worship centered around Aten. This culture shift away from traditional religion was reversed after his death. Akhenaten's monuments were dismantled and hidden, his statues were destroyed, and his name excluded from lists of rulers compiled by later pharaohs. Dozen years later, rulers without clear rights of succession from the 18th dynasty founded a new dynasty. They discredited Akhenaten and his immediate successors and referred to Akhenaten as the enemy, or that criminal, in archival records. Akhenaten was all but lost to history until the late 19th century discovery of Amarna, or Akhetaten, the new capital city he built for the worship of Aten. Furthermore, in 1907, a mummy that could be Akhenaten's was unearthed from the tomb KV 55 in the Valley of the Kings by Edward R. Ayrton. Genetic testing has determined that the man buried in KV 55 was Tutankhamun's father, but its identification as Akhenaten has since been questioned. Tutankhamun 1341 BC, 1323 BC, also known as Tutankhaten, was the antepenultimate pharaoh of the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt. His death marked the cessation of the dynasty's royal line. Tutankhamun ascended to the throne around the age of 9 and reigned until his death around the age of 19. The preeminent action of his reign is the countermanding of the religio-political changes enacted by his predecessor Akhenaten during the Amarna period. He restored the traditional polytheistic form of ancient Egyptian religion, undoing the religious shift known as Atonism, and moved the royal court away from Akhenaten's capital, Amarna. Also, Tutankhamun was one of few kings worshipped as a deity during his lifetime. This was usually done posthumously for most pharaohs. In popular culture today, Tutankhamun is known for the vastly opulent wealth found during the 1922 discovery of his tomb, KV-62, the only such tomb to date to have been found in near intact condition. The discovery of his tomb is widely considered one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of all time. Since then, he has been referred to colloquially as King Tut.